Well, here I go again with another video, and the title of it is Humanity is in the State of Confusion. I get my information from several sources, and they rarely agree. Two different groups claim that the United States Republic is being or has been restored. Of course, each says the other one is a fraud. Other groups are trying to reestablish common law courts. Just as before, they do not cooperate. Instead, they attack each other. Some of the alternative plans have been supposedly set up by the Rothschilds, maintaining control in the very hands of the ones who have perfected the fraudulent system in the first place. That is believable, since most humans are gullible. Many of us simply want change, and we, myself included, are too brainwashed to sift through all the disinformation. In fact, it may all be disinformation. I ask myself how I would recognize true and just change. I don't know the answer, and I don't really think anyone else does either. Yeah, there were different things that I was supposed to, or it was suggested to me to make videos about. And they don't all come from the same direction, and everybody wants something different said. And like I said in the blurb, I don't know anymore what is real, what is true, what is the best solution, what is fair. You know, I would like to see a system without money. Is that going to happen anytime in our lifetimes? I doubt it. Could it happen in a generation or two? Absolutely it could. But there needs to be a tremendous shift in human consciousness. And what's going to facilitate that shift in a population that has been controlled and brainwashed for not just decades, but literally millennia? I mean, and the amount of brainwashing has been perfected as much as falsehood could ever be perfected. It has been perfected in our lifetime. Now, is anyone telling the truth? Yeah, I'm sure there's truth mixed in with all of them, all of the various solutions and recommendations and ideas. All of them contain elements that are true. And I believe all of them probably contain elements that are false. There is no pure system. There is no group of ideas that we can say, this is it. It's evolving. It's being created, hopefully. And again, I say hopefully. And hopefully it's being created by people with good intentions. The Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the current cabal, the only thing that I would like to see happen with them is I'd like to see them put in solitary confinement until they could come to their senses and discover the divinity within themselves and repent of the arrogance and the deception and the murders and the cruelty that they have wreaked upon the human race. I spoke with my banker earlier today because in order to try to get housing, I have to now have 6 months of bank statements before I can get publicly assisted housing, because I can't afford, on the little bit of Social Security I have, I cannot afford to rent property at the current rental level of properties where I live. And I have no desire to go anywhere else. I mean, people have suggested going to the country and various other things. No, I don't have a desire to move away from Florida. I don't want to move to a cold climate. I don't like cold climates. I like being able to avoid winter as much as I possibly can. And yet, as I look at the alternatives and the possibilities, quite honestly, I don't see it now. My banker, in a discussion with the bank manager for 15 minutes or so today, I mean, she doesn't believe that the problem is the money system. She believes that the government is corrupt. She believes the courts are corrupt, but she believes the money system is just fine the way it is. And she doesn't realize that the money system is the root of the problems in the other systems. Until you fix the money system, you won't stop the corruption, no matter what party you represent, because all the parties, especially the major parties in every country, whether it's conservative and liberals in some countries, or Democrats and Republicans or whatever, these are all figments of creation of the people that want to maintain control. They are not geared to tell the truth. They are not geared to bring any human being into a state of freedom and into a state of potential expansion. They're just not geared that way. They're geared for control. They're geared for manipulation. They're geared for lying and deception and continuous battling against whatever factions they can create. Whatever factions they can create. I have a bunch of friends that see that the problem is a Muslim problem. If we could only get rid of Muslims, we'd be okay. Well, I don't buy that. I happen to have read stuff by Muslims from a millennia ago. I'm not a long time ago. I read some of these things, and I wish I had written down the names of some of these poets that were so good, and their works are being spread in our day and age, and they're really, really good. And these are Muslim writings. It's not a religion, folks. No, we can't get rid of a religion and think we're going to solve the problem. We don't resolve the issue by creating more conflict with each other. We can only do it by coming to a place of peace. And I don't see groups and individuals that are willing to work with each other. I bent over backwards trying to work with Swisindo, trying to work with the ambassador. Before that, trying to work with the Restored Republic movement. I was the Secretary of State in Florida. I've said that before. I have bent over backwards trying to find viable and workable solutions that will bring humanity out of the bondage of the systems that have been created and have evolved into our present 21st century realities. And even though it does appear that there are cracks in the edifice, it does appear that things are falling apart, some suggest that the falling apart is part of the plan, because it will only enable the want-to-be controllers of the whole world to be able to tighten their grips on humanity and allow less and less freedom and less free thinking. Folks, that's not what we need. That's not what we need. We need something that will help us see elemental basic truths that are capable of uniting us, and even more than that, before we can be united, we have to be individually healed. I need to be healed of all the wounds and pains that I have endured as a human being throughout my own life. I have to be able to get beyond the fact that my home was stolen from me and it didn't even have a mortgage on it, that it was all fraud put out by the bankers and the lawyers that represented the banks. I have to get over that. How am I going to get over it? I don't know. I don't have a place to live that's my place, that I don't have to worry. My son is as gracious to me as he knows how to be. And I'm not faulting my son, but he is a very different person with a very different lifestyle than me. And the lifestyles really don't go well together. That's the truth. He's bent over backwards to try not to interfere, and I appreciate that. In any case, these are some of the dilemmas that I see, and yes, humanity is in the state of confusion, and I'm hoping that somehow something happens that's able to get us out. Thank you for listening, and namaste.